Hello, everyone, and welcome to another evening of stamping. I am Sarah Simon, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in a very stormy Appleton, Wisconsin. I got caught in the rain this morning. I don't know if you can tell. As I was leaving for work, it was raining just a little bit. And then when I had to load things in for children's liturgy, it was a little bit wet. And now it looks really bad out there. And we have some severe storm warnings until 6:45. So I figured I might as well jump on. But if I do get knocked off, I will try to come back on to both channels. It might just take me a little bit to get set up. But if for some reason I would happen to get knocked out with the storms, just know that that might be what happens. Hello to all of you who have said hello to me. Yes, and Marge is saying, hope you are dry and safe. I'm dry right now. And so far I'm safe, so that's good. I'm so happy to be able to be stamping with you. And I am sorry I am a day late. I figured as long as I get a stamping video in, they'll be happy, right? I've had such a blast the last 3 days. As most of you know, I changed jobs from being a teacher for, oh my goodness, let's see, 29 years at one place and 6 years at another. So 35 years. And now I moved into parish life where I am going to be the coordinator of faith development for my parish. And so all summer I've been working at this job with no kids around. And so this week we got, all the kids. So we have like 137, I think it is, kids between kindergarten and fourth grade, no more than 30 per grade. And then we have 72 fifth graders through high school students as volunteers. And let me tell you, some of those fifth graders I've been really, really impressed with because I thought, oh no, it's going to be like kind of watching them, but they've really stepped up to the plate. And then we have a bunch of parents that have helped as well. So it's been fun. Oh my goodness, it's really raining right now. So that's what I have been doing the last couple of days. So this is the part of my job I love when I get to be with the kids, but it's also so tiring. My dad keeps saying, Sarah, you're not so young anymore. I know I'm going to be 60 coming up here not too long from now. And I'm not as young as I used to be. I have to say that first day I had 23,000 steps on, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just going to collapse. And I still had running and stuff I had to do. And then yesterday wasn't quite as bad, and today was probably the best. So I do have one project I have to finish tonight before I go to bed, and I have to work on my card buffet, but otherwise, I'm doing great. So um, you have a long time until six something. Denise, you don't have storm. Yeah, it's raining pretty hard right now. All right, let me share with you my happy mail. I received this card from Lisa Nealand. Look at this. It pulls up like this, and then these open up like that. Isn't that cool? I'm going to have to do this sometime because this is a unique fold that I have not seen before. So I will be casing this with my own little design of it sometime to share with you with all the dimensions. Karen, I'm still so young. I don't feel so young anymore, let me tell you. I said to someone today, I really have to get more water in, even though I'm busy with all the kids. So I had my water bottle with me everywhere I went today because last night, I think 3 times in the middle of the night, I woke up with leg cramps. And I know this is because I didn't get enough water in yesterday. So today I was much better with the water, that's for sure. There's something else that I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. Hmm, I don't remember what it was. If I think of it later, I'll let you know. Oh, I know. So this morning, I was like, okay, I need a little bit of caffeine. So I'm going to do a Starbucks run on my way in. And I'm a tea drinker. I'm not a coffee drinker. So I ordered my tea. And I remember my grandma Vanden Hogan's voice was in the back of my head because none of the days this week have we gotten lunch in. We've like basically cleaned everything up during lunch, started getting things ready for the next day during lunch, and basically just worked through lunch. So it's been like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. We've been getting there. The kids leave at noon, but we work until like 4:30, sometimes a little bit after. And so I'm like, I really need to get something for breakfast. And my grandma's voice is saying, you need to eat oatmeal because it sticks with you all day. I'm like, oh, I'm going to order oatmeal from Starbucks. So I ordered it. I get into work and I had 3 trips to unload my car, and I'm like moving things, getting things all where they have to go. And I'm like, okay, I got to eat my oatmeal while it's hot. And so I opened it up, and honest to God, they forgot to add the hot water. It was just oats, like nothing with it. Thankfully, the science experiment that I was getting set up for needed hot water. And so I had a coffee pot filled with water that was getting hot for their experiment. So I could wait a little bit longer until it was completely hot and fill my oatmeal and get my oatmeal. I think I picked up the oatmeal at about 6:45 and I ate it at like maybe probably 7:45, right before we were ready. No, actually, it was after that. It's probably about 8:30 because we went on at 9 o'clock. So I was like, how does this happen? Really? You forgot to put the most important ingredient. Well, I suppose not the most important ingredient. At least the oats were there. It wasn't an empty little cup, but it was kind of funny. All right, I have some prizes to give away. Mary asked me, how close are you to Alaska? Mary, I am about 1,000 points away. I was at 1,500 like about 2 weeks ago, and I think I knocked some of that off, and I'm about 1,000 or maybe just a little bit under 1,000 out of 40,000 points. And I have until the end of September. So I'm pretty confident I'm going to hit it. And I just saw one of the ladies on my team was just in Alaska just this last week. I don't know if Julie's on here or not, but I was looking at some of her pictures and I was like, oh, it looks so cool. So I'm excited for that. All right. So last week we did a Joyfold card that looked like this with our painterly pears. Isn't that pretty? And again, when I first saw this on the incentive trip in Orlando, I was like, oh, and I have to say, less than 1% of demonstrators worldwide earn these trips. It's required of me. But anyway, when I saw this, when I was in, I wasn't like, ooh, I have to have that. But I've seen so many cool things that I was like, yeah, I need to get this. Okay, Shanna's asking me a question. Question about the cloud ink. What kind of ink pad can we order to use with that one? Okay, let me see if I have mine here. I don't. Oh, I do have one here. So Shanna, these are called Stampin' Spots. So if you do a search for Stampin' Spots, you get 5 of these in a pack. And then all you need to do is order the re-inker. And then it's basically, if you've ever ordered a paper pumpkin or one of our kit, it comes with a spot like this. So this thing right here is uninked. And instead of being the foam rubber like our normal ink pads are, it's like our Memento ink, kind of like our older ink pads that are kind of more linen-y. And the formula for the re-inker on this makes it a true color, where if you get it on the ink pad, it's not. So you can get 5 of these in a pack. And so if there's ever like another color that you're like, oh, I don't want to pay for an entire ink pad for that because I don't know how much I'll use it, the re-inker's a little bit cheaper. You could just get the re-inker for like 4 other ones, and then you've got 5 of these, and you just put like a little label on them or use a Sharpie and mark what color it is, because once you fill it, it's hard to tell what color it is. She's still in Alaska, Robin said. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so that is that question, I think. Yeah, Mary's got her fingers crossed for me. Thank you. If I don't get it, I don't know what's going to happen, because I'm pretty sure I might just go and buy $1,000 worth of stuff myself. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So then this was our second card. Did I say who won this one? I didn't. Julie Black. This will be coming your way for commenting last week. And then we had our Christmas in July with this card. So cute. This is paper that's going to be in the new holiday catalog, which I will be sending out sometime in August. You can start ordering from it in September. If you're a demonstrator, next week we get to start ordering from that, and you'll be able to see it online as well. Yep, if those are blank spots, that you can use that channel. That's correct. All right, so receiving this is Linda Kester. I keep getting sidetracked. I'm so sorry about that. So, Linda, you are going to be getting this with a little sneak peek of some of our Christmas paper. And then for ordering, receiving a spool of this basic beige, and I don't know what it's called, classic ribbon. Doesn't even say, I think it's like a linen type ribbon. I'm actually using this on one of the cards today because we're doing some fall cards, is Audra. So Audra, I will be sending this to you. Thank you so much for your order. And those of you that won last week, and I actually did 2 weeks in a row, I didn't get my pictures taken to change my YouTube channel, the front page of my, like that thumbnail of my YouTube channel. And so I took pictures tonight, and I have filled out the envelopes. They're kind of right behind me. They are ready to go in the mail tomorrow. And as soon as we're done with VBS in the morning and we've got everything cleaned up, I'm going to try to escape to our post office, which is just down the street from where I work. It's basically right out the parking lot to the right. It's right there. Their back end and our parking lot like touch each other. So I should be able to get those there tomorrow. Thank you for all of you who shared. All right. I have one announcement to make, and that is that right now on orders over $75 from now until Friday, Stampin' Up! Is offering free shipping. So that's always a fun time to be able to stock up on things because you get more for your money, right? You don't have to pay that extra, what is it, like 12% for the shipping. And then you have to pay tax on that 12% as well. So this is a nice time to save a little bit of money and be able to buy maybe something a little bit more or just save a little money on the things that you're purchasing. Stampin' Up! Does that every once in a while. They usually don't give us much notice. So for those of you that placed orders maybe like 2 days ago before we found out about it, I'm really, really sorry. I always hate that when something comes out, I go back and I look and I'm like, okay, who just recently placed an order? I feel real bad for them. I personally was ready to submit an order and then I saw it and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to hold off. Good thing I got busy and didn't get it submitted. So that is coming up. All right, I'm going to go to my demonstration scene here. Oops, these are my winners. And put that back there. Actually, here's the prizes. I'm going to put it with the prizes. I have to make the envelopes for those yet. I have a little bit of shadows, but I think it's a little bit brighter like this. So I'm going to leave it like this. But if you see and you think that the shadows are really annoying and really bad, so you can kind of see how my hand has those shadows in the background, I'm hoping once I get the paper down here, it won't be as bad. If it is, just let me know and I can still turn my overhead light off. All right, I'm going to start. We've got fall today. It was super, super humid here today. Felt like a summer day. And I decided the other day when I heard that it was supposed to be super hot that maybe we'll think of times when my favorite time of the year, which is autumn, and we'll make something to get us to start thinking about that. So these are going to be our dimensions, but I'm going to be using this Artistic Leaves. And I have to say that when we were at our Stampin' Up! Event at the Paper Valley a couple weeks ago, Kelly Atchison used this on a card. And she said, I don't know why, but there's some white spots in here. And I said to her, I said, Kelly, there's a second stamp. I think what it's meant to do is it's meant to allow you to add, like a leaf has so many different colors in it in the fall. You're able to do one of the stamps in one color and then the other stamp in another color that kind of coordinates with it to kind of make it look like a fall leaf. And she goes, really? Oh my gosh, I'll have to take another look at that. So when I got home, I was starting to second guess myself, and it does. So this stamp right here, you'll see when we use it, it stamps and it's got kind of like these white spots. And then if you look at this one, it's like where all those white spots, it's filled in. So we're going to use a couple of different colors. And then what's really nice too is it's one of those distinctive stamps. So it also gives you like different shades of the colors that you pick. So this is going to be a little bit darker. This is going to be a little bit lighter. And the stamp is made to automatically do that so that you don't have to like use a sponge dauber or something like that to take off the ink. We're going to be pairing it with the dies that are in our textured notes. Now, this layout came from a card that I received in a swap. Diane Bogenhagen made this beautiful card, and I thought it was just gorgeous. I loved the mini corrugated embossing folder. I loved how she used the textured, even this right here is the textured. I'm going to use that same thing. You can kind of see the stitching on there around the edge of each of those. So, and I liked how this kind of circle was in here. So this was my inspiration for my card tonight. I'm going to be obviously making it a little bit different and even use a little bit of different colors. But that is where that is coming from. So I'm pairing this with some paper that is an online exclusive. That stamp set, the Artistic Leaves, is also an online exclusive that you can get right now. And it's called Artistic Leaves. And if you just do a search for it, you should be able to find that. So this is our, and I've got cords and my things. I might have to turn my light off. I'm seeing a lot of shadows, so I apologize for that. This paper is called Need for Tweed. And it has basic beige, basic black, cherry cobbler, early espresso, old olive, pecan pie. I even think there's a little Cajun craze in it. There's basic beige, I think, in there. So you can kind of see, oops, I think this is supposed to be my, it could be used for Christmas things. And it also could be used for some fall cards. So this is one of those where there's only 4 different designs. Of course, they're two-sided. So you get 3 of each one rather than getting 2 and having 6 designs. So we've got 4 designs. Here's the back. Okay, so could you see this in some Christmas? I was thinking this would look really, really cool with that all zipped up and making it into like a Christmas sweater that you could make into a card. I thought that would be cute. We're going to actually be using this one because I thought that looked very fallish. So we're going to be using that in our card today. All right, so this again is called The Need for Tweed. All right, colors. We're going to do just like Diane did. Our card base is actually going to be early espresso. And this is 5.5 by 8.5. And I scored it at 4 1/4. It is just a standard card. I'd love to see that leaf and Cajun craze. Well, imagine that, Melanie. You're going to see it with some Cajun craze in it today. I am going to be using Cajun craze. All right, so that is that. I'm going to, this is our inside. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, and that is basic beige because basic beige is in that paper. I'm going to let you pick. You can either pick basic beige, so you can just call it beige if you want, okay, for our background, or do you want to see Cajun craze for our background? Now let me show you what I'm going to be putting on it so you can make a decision. So this is early espresso with one of those textured notes dies, and this is the designer series paper, which is 4.5 by 3. So do you like it with the Cajun craze in the background, or do you like it with the basic beige in the background? So beige or Cajun? You guys get to do the voting. Beige or Cajun. So how about if I do this? I'll put that like that so you can kind of see which one you want. All right, then I also have, let me try to get this cord out of the way here. I also have a stylish shape, so there's a little stitching on this in the basic beige. And this is the second from the largest one in the stylish shapes. I did cut out, just like Diane did, I cut out that long and skinny from the textured notes. I cut that out to use as just like a little bit of texture and a little bit of border along my greeting. which is 3/4 of an inch wide by 2 5/8 inch long. Okay, let's go ahead and do our stamping. It doesn't really matter if you which one you said for the stamping, but let me see. I've got, oh my goodness, let's see here. I got to go back a little bit for some of these comments. So I've got, ooh, it's pretty mixed. Beige, Cajun craze, Cajun craze, Cajun beige, Cajun, Cajun beige, Cajun beige, Cajun, Cajun, Cajun. I think Cajun craze is winning. We're going to do it with Cajun craze. All right, I'm going to put the beige away. I'm going to stamp this. We're going to stamp on this, and we're going to stamp on that. And I am going to use the back of this for right now. Somebody remind me when I'm looking for the directions at the end that I flipped them over and stamped on them. Now that I said that, I'll remember. But if I didn't say that, I probably would have forgotten. All right, we are going to use, let me get some of this out of the way. We're going to use Early Espresso, and we are going to use Cajun Craze ink. All right, so for my leaf, I'm going to do the one that has like all the veins and things like that in it. I'm going to do that in my Early Espresso. And you want to have your ink pad not too juicy. So if it is really juicy, you could take the back of a spoon. You could take a credit card, like a gift card. Like I have some old gift cards that I used already. You could scrape it across here. Just don't scrape it too hard. You don't want to ruin your ink pad, but you could just kind of spread that ink out a little bit. But this will automatically give me a couple of different shades of brown because of how the stamp is made. Okay, so notice how it's a little bit darker out here and then it's a little bit lighter on the inside. All right, I'm going to stamp this again on the corner of my inside piece. Lila's here and wants to be heard. Can you hear her in the background? Oh, Joan, it's humid in Minnesota. Yeah, it was humid here all day, and now it is just pouring rain. Actually, it eased up a little bit. It's not pouring as hard as it was before. All right, and my Early Espresso, this comes from a different stamp set. I can't remember which one it is. Remembering You, maybe, or something like that. But this says, to someone we're celebrating every single day. And instead of putting it up in the middle, I decided I think I'm just going to put it down here next to the leaf, and I'll write my little message up there. I like to mix it up every once in a while. All right, my greeting for the outside comes from the stamp set itself, and it says, celebrate today. I thought the celebrate and then celebrating was perfect. So we're going to say celebrate today to someone we're celebrating every single day. So I thought the two kind of went together. The fonts don't necessarily go together, but I think it's okay because one's on the outside and one is on the inside. There's our celebrate today. And then I can close up this. Oh, Betty said you have some sun now after the storms. It's still raining here. We don't have any sun yet. Okay, so here is our second stamp. So you can kind of see, you don't really see all of those veins in this one. So this is going to be what fills in these white spots on here. And I'm going to do it with Cajun Craze. Now, I'm thinking Cajun Craze would look really good with some crushed curry. I think the Cajun Craze could look really good with like some Timid Tiger or pumpkin pie or peach pie. I think there's a lot of different combinations that you could try with this stamp. So I'm trying to line this up, and I'm looking over my camera, so I apologize if I don't get it lined up perfectly. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Look at that. Ooh, look at the different color. You could also have done like pecan pie and the Cajun Craze together if you didn't want to do it as dark as the Early Espresso. I was just using the colors that were in the paper when I picked out which color I wanted. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. Have this the wrong way. It does really match up when you have it in the right spot. Okay, now that I'm thinking of it, I'm going to do this on my envelope as well. So let me pull open that early espresso again. And there we go. And we'll put a little Cajun craze in there. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be my favorite day of Vacation Bible School. So our theme is called True North, and it's kind of like an Alaskan theme, which is kind of perfect because I'm working on this, earning this Alaska trip. And so tomorrow, we're talking about the Northern Lights. So all of our activities have like fun colors. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can close this. There we go. They're going to have fun. The kids are supposed to dress in like neon and tie-dyed and stuff like that. And all of our activities are just going to be so fun tomorrow, I think. All right. So let's go ahead and put this together. I'm going to start by attaching this to our die cut image. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to take this little piece and I'm just going to run it across the bottom, and I'm going to do that just regular, not with any dimensionals. Put it maybe right about there. Get it straight. Okay, so you see how she did that? Then she ran that ribbon across. So that's what I did next as well. I pretty much followed what she did for her different layers. Okay, so I'm taking that ribbon. Probably have more here than I need, but I'm just using it kind of as a trim rather than having a bow or a knot or anything like that. I don't have any Scotch tape here. Let's just do this for now. I usually connect this with Scotch tape, but I don't have any sitting on my desk. I think I might have taken it to work, so I had another roll of it for something that we needed for a project this week. All right, we went with Cajun Craze. Oregon, 20% humidity. That's not too bad, but 93, that is hot. We were supposed to have an index today in the hundreds. We have one of the rooms that we're using for Vacation Bible School that does not, I don't know if the air conditioning isn't like built to go there or if it just doesn't work there. But they said it's always hot in there. And so I felt really bad. And then today, they're the ones that needed the hot water for their activities. So talk about adding insult to injury, right? Okay, so there is the Cajun Craze that's added to that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this up on some dimensionals. I do really like how Cajun Craze looks with our early espresso. I always think that that looks nice and rich. So I think the basic beige would have looked good. But I do, when I made my sample, this is the one that I made last night. I did end up using Cajun Craze on that sample as well. But after I was done, I'm like, oh, she had a little bit of a lighter color, but this was a little bit lighter too. So I thought, well, maybe I should just do something a little bit lighter. So then I second guessed myself that maybe I should have done the Cajun Craze, and I did, can notice she shortened hers up so that she could get more sheets out of, like, this is 4.5, I think I said. Let's look. Yeah, it's 4.5 by 3. If you cut it at 4 by 3, you can get more of them out of a sheet of paper. So that's what she did, and just had a little bit more of the brown showing on either end. I just brought mine out a little bit further. So that's a little bit different. Okay, I've got my circle here that we're going to put here, and we're going to raise that up on some dimensionals. I always like to put one in the middle so that when it goes through the mail, it doesn't get crushed there in the middle. All right. That like that. And then our greeting is going to go right in there. And I want it to come in a little bit so that you can see that brown on the edge. And so I'm going to put a little bit of glue or adhesive on this end, and the other end I'm going to put a dimensional. Might actually put 2. So that's going to rest right on there. Like that. There we go. And then right in here, kind of where these intersect each other, I liked how she added just a little piece of this baker's twine. This is from the Essentials baker's twine. And I don't know, I'm getting like this really weird thing on my iPad. I don't know what that is, but okay, I'm just going to ignore it. I think everything's working okay. All right, I'm going to use linen thread on mine. My iPad was just like really acting up, and my phone had just like beeped because I had a message that came in. All right, so what I did with here is I cut 2 pieces around the same length, and I'm going to run this around here so that I have a like 2 strands and 2 little tails and all of that. I think I mentioned this before. You can either wrap it around here twice with 1 strand, or you can take 2 strands, wrap it around once, and then what you get are not only the 2 little, the double up here, but you also get the double little tails as well. I think we did that. I don't know if it was last week. It might have been the week before. Okay, so there is that. And I'm going to take a glue dot. I'm going to put that kind of right where I want it, which is kind of where those kind of intersect, so that this is going to go on there and kind of cover up where they meet. But it still says celebrate today. Whoops, I'm up a little high. Sorry about that. And then, what's the name of this embossing folder? Connie's asking. This is the mini corrugated embossing folder. It's a 3D one, and it is an online exclusive. Let me grab it. This is what it looks like. So you can run the corrugation either the horizontal way, or you could run it up and down if you wanted to. I just happen to run it this way. All right, and then we have our inside to put down. So we're kind of double ribbing it on here. We've got that basic beige ribbon, and then we're putting a little bit of that linen thread as well. There we go. And then we have our, I think these are called the natural something dots. I don't remember the exact name, but they do have some basic beige ones on here. So I decided to put some of these basic beige ones. I'm going to put one there, and we'll put a small one here. And then I think I'm going to put the other one right in there. Right, so there's a couple of little dots just to add a little bit of something to, doesn't that tweed like paper look so cool? And I love how the stamp, how we can bring both of the colors out of here, as well as really the basic beige that's in there. So really we're kind of grabbing all of those colors. So that is our first card, which I thought could be a great birthday card. And if you, instead of putting like the to someone we're celebrating every single day, you could actually, there's a happy birthday that comes with this. You could put the happy birthday up here and then that down there. So not just celebrating today, but every single day. So you could actually put a double greeting on there if you wanted to. All right, so there is our first card, again, inspired by Diane Bogenhagen, who had given me this card in a swap. using the other paper that we have that has all these different textured stuff on, and using a circle along with this. And I just basically kind of copied her layout and made it a little bit more fall with some different paper and some different stamps. All right, so here are our dimensions. Again, with the card, so that if you want to take a picture, you can. And then like do a screenshot. Do I have it low enough? I think I do. There we go. Take a screenshot so that you have the dimensions along with the picture. So if you want to recreate it or you want to do the similar layout, you can. I don't think that the corrugated embossing folder is in anymore. Oh, Is that retired already? It might be. I might have missed that. I thought that it was. It is an online exclusive. Let me see if I can quickly look it up. Let me do just a quick search. Mini corrugated. Ooh, you are right. I do not see that anymore. That went fast. I apologize for using something that's retired. I guess I didn't even realize it was on the last chance list. I didn't even pull it out when I was pulling everything that was retired. So I apologize for using something that you can't get anymore. That went really fast. You could probably use, other than the mini corrugated, you could probably use the soft waves, or the birchwood would also be one that would probably look good on there. If you don't have this mini corrugated one already. Let's see, what's the number? The number of the corrugated embossing. I don't think that, yeah, I don't think that it's available. On my thing, it says the number is here. It's right on here, I think. Nope, it's not. I thought that I had the number on here, but I don't even have the item number. So I did do a search for mini corrugated and nothing came up. I did embossing folders and nothing came up. So I'm not sure if it is available. I'll find out. If I find out that it is, I will post the item number, or if somebody who's a demonstrator is on here is like, Sarah, you don't know what you're talking about, it's still available, and you have the number, feel free to post it for me. I don't see it when I just did a really quick search on the website. So again, I apologize if I use something that is no longer available. I usually don't like to do that. It's been hard for me to keep track of everything that's in and everything that is out. So, all right, next, I'm going to share with you another bundle that's on our online exclusives. This is Halloween, and I know some people don't like Halloween, so I apologize if you don't like Halloween, but I think you will like this fold that you could use with other paper or something else if you're not a fan of Halloween. All right, this paper is called Spooky Sweet, and I'm not like a ghosty, like spooky Halloween person. I am more of a cutesy Halloween person. So this paper kind of spoke to me. There's a little bit of spooky stuff in it, but it's very cartoonish and very like, look at all this fun candy on here. There's bats on it, but that's just kind of cute, right? And here, this is a little bit spookier, but then you've got just kind of like a pumpkin pie and white, or timid tiger. You could use either. These, I love that they give you so many of them, so that if you wanted to make a whole bunch of cards, you've got 2 sheets. So I've actually got, if I want to use this and I want to make my Halloween cards, I'm probably not going to make more than 8 Halloween cards. I have 8 of these, and I have 8 of these that I can use. I have 8 of everything here. And then if I don't really like that, they gave me something different on the back that I could use that's a little bit more muted. All right, and then look at these cute little things. All right, like just little funny things for Halloween, right? And then on the back, we've just got, again, a pattern that you could use if you just wanted to use this for, let's say, a fall card. Even that last card that we did, there's like a little bit of a light yellow almost, or really almost like a peach pie and then like a pumpkin pie. You could make one of those leaves and use this as your designer paper. Then we have all of these punch outs that you can use. There's candy corn. Look at this little princess that you can use. And again, there's 3 of them on this one, and then there's 3 on another one that you can punch out. So this can go on the top of that. There's all kinds of fun ways that you could either scrapbook this or you could use it for cards. Halloween is becoming huge now in Australia. I know there's some people, and I don't think I showed this side, but this is one of the papers we're going to be using. This had, I don't think I flipped that one over. People decorate like crazy here in the States, Susan, for Halloween. Lots of pumpkins, a lot of like corn and bales of hay and things like that to look really neat. But I don't do a ton of Halloween decorating. I just don't have any kids, and I get very few trick-or-treaters. These are some iridescent bags that you could put some little treats in. You could make one of these into like a little tag and tie it. So those are iridescent. And then we have like an iridescent ribbon in Petunia Pop that goes with that. And then these are very, very unique. These are like spongy almost. Okay, and then they have like this glitter on it. You do have to be careful. Don't use your take your pick because the putty part will take off this glitter. And I also found that you have to be very careful because you can change the shape of them very easily if you like press down on it. So you gotta be careful picking them up not to get them out of their star shape. We're going to be using these on the card that we're making today. All right, and then the bundle is called Spooky Halloween. So I like it because there's a Happy Halloween. There's the No Tricks, All Treats, which we're going to use that today, and the Happy Halloween. Don't worry, eat sweets, right? And then it's cute because it's got like this little dog and this little cat dressed up in Halloween costumes. So I just thought it was a really cute little great for kids. I do big Christmas instead of I do more Thanksgiving than I do Halloween, and because we have a Thanksgiving here in November, which is just like a month after Halloween, and then I do Christmas. I like to put my Christmas decorations up by Thanksgiving, which is the end of November, so that I can use it a lot. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of the way. I'm gonna grab my ribbon and my gems. And this is going to be our fun fold card for tonight. So for this one, we have a card base that is just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's just a 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock, and I'm using basic black for that. All right. We have a little hinge that we're going to be using that measures 5 1/2 inches by 1 inch, and we're going to score it at 1 1/4. Okay, so this is going to be like a little hinge that comes off the side for the opening. One of the openings is going to have a double opening for the opening of our card. I got this fold from Connie Stewart, who is Simply Simple Stamping. All right, then I have a coordinating cardstock, and we're going to use the Petunia Pop. And this measures 2 3/4 inches wide by 11 inches wide, and we're scoring it at 5 1/2. So our card is going to open like this. This is going to open, and then this is going to be on here, and it's going to open up as well. So it's got 2 different openings. I made this fold for my niece's graduation card, and she's 17, so she's not a girl that's like, oh, like overly dramatic or anything like that. She's kind of shy. And she opened the card and she goes, oh my gosh, Aunt Sarah, I love how this card opens. It opens so uniquely. And I'm like, okay, I guess I impressed her with just this simple little double opening on the card. She was more impressed with that than I think what was on the card itself. But she was like, this is so cool. So that was kind of nice. All right, I have a tiny strip, if I can find that. Oh, I should do coordinating cardstock. Is this? I got that. Okay, I've got a tiny strip. And for that, I used Granny Apple Green. And I have to find it because it really is tiny. Let me get all my stuff out of here. There we go. Look at this tiny little strip. What? So 1/8 of an inch wide by 2 3/4, 2 3/4 inches wide. And then this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I loved this. And then I've got 2 pieces. Let me get my dimensions out here again. I have 2 pieces that are 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches. Okay, and I loved how this petunia pop looked with that. And then on the inside, I have a piece that's 2.5 by 5.25. Now, if you did, I'm going to show you one where I used I think I used basic beige. I might have used, oh, basic beige is what I used. And I used like a white. On her card, I used a white. So I didn't need an inside layer because I could stamp right on that on the inside. So if you use something that's more of a neutral color, a very vanilla, a basic beige, a basic white as your folding piece here, then you really don't need to have this inside piece. I wanted to have it just so I had something to stamp on for the inside. All right, I do have a scrap of white. And then again, I apologize. I should have looked. I have a 2.25 inch punch from when we had a 2.25 inch. This is 2 3/8, and this is 2.25, I think. Or this is 2.25, and that's 2. I can't remember. Here, let me measure them. I did this a couple nights ago. This is the one that I worked on until 11. Okay, this is 2. This is about 2.25. Yeah, I think this is 2.25. And then this is 2 3/8. Yes. Okay, so that's what these are. And then this is a scrap for us to stamp. And I did punch out one of these little things we're going to put on there. And let's do some stamping. All right, we're going to have some blends to do some coloring. I'm going to start with Memento. And I'm going to use the little cat. You would think I'd use the dog because I am a dog person, but I like this little witch. I thought she was cute. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stamp that, and we're going to color that in. Now, I'm going to color in the one that I cut already. So I did use the dies, and I cut that out through the magic of TV. That is already cut. And I'm going to go ahead and color that. I'm going to do the cat in grays because of the color that's in here. And I'm just going to basically do the outline of the ears in the darker smoky slate. I'm just going to kind of go around the outside here, do the smoky slate. And then I'm going to do this inside piece right here, but not the little nose part. That's going to be done with some pink. Okay, and then I just used a Flirty Flamingo. This is just the light Flirty Flamingo that I'm going to color that little nose in. And then the rest of my cat is going to be the lighter smoky slate. So I'm going to come in here with that. Color all of this. I could have colored this ahead of time, but I just wanted to show you how quick and easy it is to color these images. It really doesn't take a whole lot of time to do that. I'm going to do the little paws here and the tail. If you wanted to, you could do the tail in the darker shade if you wanted to. I just did it in the same color. All right. Amy likes this Halloween. I didn't get it at first, Amy, because I was like, I'm not sure if I like that or not. Halloween's a ways off. I'm just going to wait. And I've been seeing a lot of different things with it. And I broke down and I ended up getting it. Because Stampin' Up! Is not going to have any, from what I understand, they're not going to have any Halloween in the holiday catalog because their Halloween is always going to be online exclusives because they can do them earlier for you so that you get them a lot earlier to start planning instead of the catalog comes out in September and this is the first you can order anything with Halloween. Okay, so this is going to be their Halloween offerings for you. There's another stamp set, actually a bundle that I did not get that has like some spider webs for, this is Petunia Pop. This is the light Petunia Pop. And I'm just coloring the dress part that she has on to kind of go with the color of the main color of my card. And then I thought it would be fun to make her little tights. Whoops, I missed an arm of her dress here. Thought it would be fun to make her tights some of the other colors that were in that paper. So if you look, there's pumpkin pie, there's daffodil delight, there's granny apple green, and I used the granny apple green for my little piece right here. So I decided that was one of the colors that I wanted to use. So I'm going to color her stockings here. They're striped. I'm going to do every other one in granny apple green and then the other one in pumpkin pie, just to get all those colors into her little outfit here. All right. So there is our little cat all dressed up, colored up. All right. And we have a little more stamping to do. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip this over again. And we have this stamp that has kind of like these little, kind of like little X's on. And I didn't like how stark white this was. Even when I put this on, I felt like it needed something in the background. So I started with a smoky slate and thought, well, should I put it smoky slate? I didn't like really how that looked with the coloring of the cat. And so I landed on using this along with some of our Petunia Pop ink and our Granny Apple Green ink. And I'm just looking right now. I don't know what I did. I went and made sure that my chamois was all wet and ready to go so I could clean it off in between. And I don't know where I put, oh, here it is. I put it with the stamp set. I'm going to just clean it real quick to make sure that I did that the other night when I used it. All right, so I'm going to start with a little bit of the Petunia Pop. Okay, I'm putting some of that in there, and then I'm going to clean it up on our chamois. And I just put my chamois inside one of our stamp cases. Oh, that's so nice. Joan's saying that she likes Halloween, and she makes about 50 cards for the VA. I bet they love that. That's so cool. All right, this is our Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to kind of fill in some of these areas. And I'm probably just going to get a little bit on the edges here. It's hard to tell because I've got stuff on my paper. Here, well, let's do this. There we go. So just a bunch of those little things in those colors to kind of bring that color into where I'm going to lay my little cat down. All right, and then I'm going to stamp on here. This is going to be our Happy Halloween on the inside. I'll get my Memento ink. And this just fits. I was happy it fit. And I was going to, actually, you know what? I don't think I did cut a little 1/2-inch strip. I was going to put a little 1/2-inch strip. Oh, I did. Nope, I didn't. I don't think I cut a 1/2-inch strip of that. So instead of putting that 1/2-inch strip, let's put a little bit, I think I did Granny Apple Green second. So let's pull the Granny Apple Green out while it's still on my stamp. Let's just add, whoops, that would have been a disaster. That's Petunia Pop. Oh my goodness, Michelle, you had 200 kids last year. I always think that where I live, I'm eventually going to get, like I thought I'd get a lot more kids. And I always end up having so much candy that I end up having to bring it to work afterwards. But That's good. I don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to just do those two. I can always add more if I want, but I can't take them away once I stamp them. I just have to flip the paper over. So I'm going to add a little bit of the pink in here and a little bit up there. Might even go off a little bit. There we go. I didn't plan anything for the envelope, so I'll maybe just cut some of the paper. I think I have some of the paper sitting here. All right, and then on the front of the card, on here, up towards the top, we are going to stamp our all treats, no tricks, all treats. And that's going to be way up here at the top. Okay. I think we are ready to put this together. I'm not real happy on how this looks. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to do it the way I did it. And I'll just cut a piece of that. Since I'm going to pull the designer paper out to do something on the envelope, I might as well pull it out to cut that little strip as well. All right. That is all that we need. And I'm ready to assemble. Okay. We're going to take this little 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and we're going to glue that along the bottom of this front piece. Ooh, look at that with the black and gray and that little bit of pumpkin pie in there. Okay, so that's going to go along the bottom. I'll show you another one that I made that's going to be in my card buffet. For those of you that told me you want to be part of the card buffet, I don't think I'm going to get the Google form out today, but by the end of the day tomorrow, I'll have it. I have 2 cards left to make, and then I just have to take all the pictures and make the form. So I should be able to finish that tomorrow and get it to you. This little piece right here is going to just kind of nicely divide or kind of finish off. Sometimes I do this with ribbon. Sometimes just a strip of paper like this just kind of finishes that a little bit instead of having it just hang in there. Let's get a bone folder in here and get that a good crease. This right here is going to go on the front, and I want to keep about the same amount of distance or of area on both sides. Make sure I'm still on the camera. Just want to make sure that I'm getting it all the way up to the top. If I need to trim anything off, I can trim it off the bottom. I can't trim it off the top because that's where my score line is. So I can't trim it there. Okay, that looks not very equal, Sarah. Let me try to redo this and get it a little bit more straight. Of course, after I pushed it all down. There we go. If you want to, you could use some grid paper to make sure that you're getting it. What I should be doing is standing up and looking over my camera rather than trying to do it where I am. All right, this little piece is going to get attached to the back, and it's going to cover over that little strip that we had there. And then these 2 little pieces are going to decorate that hinge. Got one of them there. And we're going to put another one on the inside. You wouldn't have to put that piece on the inside. I liked it. Connie did, and I kind of copied that from her. She used I think she used the Charming, let me think. Did she use the Charming Floral or Floral Charm? I think that's what she used on hers. All right, we're gonna layer these. So just a little bit of that black is showing. I need to, I don't think I did that score line very well. Right, this is going to go right in here so that our greeting is right over the top of that. So I want to make sure that I don't put glue where I don't need it. So I'm going to put it on my little hinge rather than putting it on my circle. Now on the one that you're going to see that I made for my card buffet, I ended up putting that up on some dimensionals, but I wanted this up on dimensionals, so I didn't want it to get too thick so that I had to end up paying more for postage. So I decided, let's just put the cat on dimensionals and put the circle just with regular glue. Isn't that cute? Okay, and then I'm just gonna pop this up down here as just kind of like a little extra accent that we have. I was gonna put it, but it was too big to put in their hands. It'd be like, ooh, look at this big piece of candy corn that's as big as my head. Okay, so I decided to just put it down here in the corner. We have this iridescent ribbon, and I did do a bow already, and it is in the envelope. I'm just gonna put that on with a glue dot on the side. Where did I? Here my glue dots are. So push my knot right in that glue dot, and then attach it here on the side. You're going to see with my other one, I wrapped it actually around this and just tied it in a knot instead of a bow, but I kind of liked how the bow looked there. So this opens this way, and then it flips up. We've got to put our inside greeting in there. And then I couldn't decide in the other cards that I've made with this, put Wink of Stella on the cat. I will put some Wink of Stella on the cat. Let's, where do we want to put Wink of Stella on her? On her little dress, make it sparkly. You can make her dress really sparkly. So she shimmers and she looks even cuter than she does. Unfortunately, you're probably not going to even be able to see that. Let's see if I hold it up if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can kind of see that sparkle. Look at how that sparkles. Woo-hoo. All right. I'm going to use the black stars. I thought that the Petunia Pop just looked, it almost looked too purpley. And I didn't know if I liked the white ones on there. So I kind of settled on the black ones. I'm going to put them on how I did mine. And I don't know, with this being a straight line on the top, but this being rounded, I put my stars rounded, but I suppose you could put them straight. I decided to take the biggest one and kind of put it at the top. And then I took two of the medium ones and I put one on either side. So I'm going to put a medium one there. I'm going to put a medium one there. So they're kind of even. And then I'm going to take a little one and put that there. And take a medium, or the little one. And make sure I don't take them out of their shape. Put that there. So it kind of makes the rounded part of the circle. Okay, so now we open this up this way. And then we flip it up that way. And I'm going to add a little strip of that paper. Let me grab that paper. And I'm going to cut that. And I'm going to cut a little piece for my envelope. Get my trimmer here. Ended up putting a couple of things on top of it while we were working. So let's go ahead and I'm going to cut this at, I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. And we'll cut this at 2 1/4. And then I'll cut this at 2 1/2. Let's do just a half, actually. A half, and then 2 1/2. Okay, so this is going to be for my envelope. This is going to be for the inside of my card. And we'll add a little bit of glue to that. Open her up. Close her up. And we'll add this to our envelope. And let's see. Oh, I have some people saying so cute. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I got this fold again from Connie Stewart. I can't take credit for inventing it. I don't know if she invented it or if she got it from someone else, but she's who showed it to me on one of her lives. And or not lives, I think it was just a video. And then she usually has a little tutorial that you can get as well. And so she made one, and I pretty much made the one for my niece very similar. It had blues and pinks because pink is my niece's favorite color. And so I used the enchanted circles, I think they're called. And it said, way to go. And then I had a congratulations on the inside. So there is our little Halloween card using that. And let me get the dimensions out here for you, so that if you wanted to take a screenshot with the card, here, let's do this. There's the card and the dimensions. Whoops. Keep it straight, Sarah. There you go. Feel free to take a screenshot so you have those dimensions if you wanted to recreate that fold. Here is the one that I made for my buffet. So it's got old olive, and it has some mossy meadow and that ribbon that goes with the painterly pears and the designer paper. And again, I did that. Here I put my greeting on the little circle, and then you open it up. And I didn't put anything on the inside yet. I'm probably going to add something, but you could put any sort of birthday wish on the inside. So this is the exact same fold as that one. This one just has a little bit more work with having to do the coloring and some of the extra stamping on it. So that was a new fold to me. I hadn't used that fold before, so I thought I would share it with you when I found it. So, all right, so here is card number 2, our Halloween. So tonight our theme was all fall. So we've got fall going on here with that one. And we have fall going on with our first card, which was this one with that talk about tweed, I think is what that paper was called, or something tweed, something like that. All right, so there are our fall cards for our live today. And now the sun is out here. Look at that. All I had to do was do a couple of demonstrations, and we're back. Hello, Debbie. Better late than never. I just finished, but now you can know if you want to go back and watch the rest of it. I will try to get these pictures taken as well, so that I can get those on the YouTube. Since I'm uploading, what I have to do is I have to take the picture, upload it to my computer. I go to Canva and I make a graphic, and then I download that graphic, and then I have to go to YouTube and I have to upload and change that. So I just hadn't done it for the last 2 weeks. So I hadn't been able to send those cards out because I need the pictures of the cards in order to make the graphic. So I took those pictures tonight. I'm going to make the graphic right after this, and then I'll go ahead and take these pictures, and I'll get all those graphics done and upload them to YouTube so I can get all your prizes out in the mail. But first I have to go has anybody made a faux bottom box? I found a video on how to do it. So this is what we need for tomorrow. We're going to have this big gift, like this present that's wrapped. and we're gonna plant somebody to say, what's in that box? And we're gonna say, what box? Oh my goodness, somebody must have left us a present. I wonder what's in this present, because our thing is, when we feel hopeless, we can trust Jesus. So we're gonna talk to the kids about, like how, like, what do you think is in this box? What do you think is gonna be in this box? And then we're gonna open it up and it's gonna be empty. They're going to think it's empty, but there's a faux bottom. So underneath that faux bottom are going to be glow sticks, because, our theme tomorrow is Northern Lights. And so what we have to do is we have to have those glow sticks underneath there, but they can't see them. So we're going to tip the box so it looks like it's empty. And then we're going to have Jesus come in a little bit. We're going to talk about, oh my goodness, doesn't that, sometimes you can feel hopeless. You have all this hope and then it's gone. And then we're going to talk about how Jesus died on the cross and it seemed like everything was dead, but then he rose again. And so he shows us that we can trust him when we feel like we're hopeless. Well, Jesus is going to come in, and because of this full bottom box, he's going to be able to dig in there, and he's going to pull the glow sticks out, and he's going to say that he came to bring light to the darkness, hope to the hopeless. So then we're going to pass out all the glow sticks and they're going to sing one of their songs that they have. So I have to figure out how to make this full bottom box. That's going to be my task probably for the next hour or so, is figuring out how to do this so that it works tomorrow. So anyway, more information than you needed. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My attempt is to get live next week, Tuesday. I should be back to my normal schedule with no vacation Bible school. So I should be able to hop on Tuesday and share with you. So yes, that everybody does need Jesus, right, Tanya? That's for sure. So I know I need him right now to help me do this. So I'm going to say a few prayers and take a shot at it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you again next week, and have a great week. I hope that I've inspired you to do something creative in the next week. Maybe we should do a challenge next week. Do you want a challenge? I think maybe we should. I'll try to come up with something for a challenge for next week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.